just doing this kind of impromptu. I didn't wake up and just expect to do this today. So, anyways, I just wanted to read some notes that I've got on my phone that I've had some for a while on my. Just got my own notification on my other device here. That's funny. The notes are on here, so that's why I'm putting this in front of me. I made a live video. I lower this just a little bit. Like I said, I wasn't really planning on this, so it's like, oh, that's a little bit better. Yeah, I like that. But anyways, so I'm tired today too. The energy's just a little off for me today. I'm not sure what that's about, but anyways, I made a live a little bit ago. I don't know how long ago it was. Time is so relative to me now. It's so weird. It feels so linear, and like time moves through me. I don't move through it, so it's really weird how this affects my thinking of time. But anyways, I made a video about feeling this intense pull towards connection, and mostly to beloveds that come from a place in my story that is a little bit older. And I talked about being, a part of the GW family and all the connections that we all made with each other during that beautiful journey. And anyway, so this is some notes in response to that, because you go back and watch it. It was the one that was posted before this if you're interested in knowing what it was that I said. But I'm just going to read my notes, and then I might embellish on them a little bit. And then I had some older notes that are in here. They've just been sitting here forever, so I'm going to go ahead and address them, and then I'm going to move forward. And hopefully by the end of this, it'll make sense as to what, I'm going to be doing moving forward as far as my expression of myself and my own story. In regards to the last video I made on my Wave Mary YouTube channel and this message, it has become very clear to me that it was just for me. And in the old video, I said that I was putting it out there, and if it was just for me, great. If it wasn't, then great. Either way, it was going to be fine with me. I just felt so overwhelmingly compelled. So I knew it was right. I knew I was doing the right thing for myself, and it was a genuine expression that was in my heart. So that's why I did it. I always follow my heart. Anyway, so I saw a couple of messages down there. I have no idea who these individuals are, but that's okay. Probably may not just recognize you if you've changed your names or anything, but I'm just going to get on with this. I went live because it's easier than making a recording and uploading it. This will upload itself. So anyways, I made this message because I was feeling so pulled to these old connections and connections that happened prior to where I'm at in this now moment. So it's become very clear to me that it was just for me, not for actual 3D community connection at this time. It was for me to understand the separation, if you will, for a lack of a better word, between my ethereal heart's intentions and the things that I deeply and profoundly hold on to. And that is as it should be, and the earth story that we're telling. I'm so profoundly connected to my understanding and my awareness that I melted it into the earth story when it's not necessary to do so. I had all this revelation very soon after I posted the video. I just didn't make another video yet. So I have a clear understanding now that moving forward, I will simply just keep doing what my heart is calling me to do and releasing anything in the outer. I do firmly believe that when I walk in this path, I won't have to do anything in the outer. It will simply appear as I am completing it on the inner. I have a deep and profound connection. I have deep and profound connections, plural, in my heart that I cannot deny and I cannot release. But it has nothing to do with the physical representations of those beautiful beloveds that I feel these things for. It has to do with our ethereal connections, and solely that at this point. Obviously, it's been very obvious. Tons of indicators that it was obviously that. And that I feel these things for. It has nothing to do with the only ethereal connections. It's very easy for me to cross these wires as I am deeply connected to both my ethereal connections and my earth story connections. So moving forward, I'm going to simply just be the individual that I am being called to be, representing a love that actually speaks completely the untruth of individualism and separateness. So Anyways, can I say hi to Clan, please? I don't know who you are, Clan, but hello and much love to you. Anyone that's decided to show up. What's this? Yeah, what the Sigma? This is interesting. I don't recognize any of these names. This is an interesting response, having people on my YouTube channel that I don't recognize. I welcome it. I think it's wonderful. But anyway, so that clears up my last video, and done with that. I just am going to continue to hold on to, communicate with, and enrich those connections on an ethereal sense, and no longer look for them to be present in the outer until they are. And then when that happens, great, wonderful, beautiful, super excited about that. Okay, here's some old notes. I love this. This is John 1, 1 through 3. Now, for those of you that may not have a Christian background, you may not have anything to do with scriptures of any kind, from the Quran, from the Toph, from anything, that's fine. This is something simply that is written in the book of John, which, to my understanding, was actually Mary Magdalene. My channel, The Way of Mary, has to do with that spirit and that energy. And this was her words written under a male pen name because it was the only way she could write. Because in that storyline, you couldn't write things as a woman or you'd get killed. It was not a good thing to do. So she took on the apostle name of John. But she wrote this, and I put some information into it that was given to me by direct download through Spirit about this, through the energy of Yeshua, as a matter of fact, who I continually have beautiful relationship with, a beautiful connection with, and a beautiful constant sharing of remembrance with. This came for both those individuated aspects and archetypes, if you will, of Mary and Yeshua. So this is John 1, 1 through 3. It says, in the beginning, the living expression, I put in parentheses, she was the divine feminine energy. The beginning, the living expression, she was already there. She was already there. So when you hear that, go and read the scripture yourself, and just in its basic words, and you can follow along that way if you like. But it says, was already there. And I put the little word first after that, because so that you understand the living expression, she, the divine feminine aspect of this beautiful story that we're co-creating and telling together, that is the Holy One and union, and all the things wrapped up in it, was there first. Just think about that for a minute. Just think about it. And the living expression was with God, him. So she was there first, and then in the origin of separation, or the illusion of separation, for the expansion that we're all experiencing now. It's simply a perception of separation. It isn't really real because there is no separateness. The Holy One is the Holy One, end of story. She was there first, and the living expression was with God, which represents that masculine energy, yet fully God, yet fully him. Do you understand that? She was there first, but yet she was fully him. Are you getting the image of this totality, this wholeness, the illusion of separateness for the sake of expansion, and how this beautiful Ein Sof, holy creator, source, one, whatever you want to call it, has been a connected, beautiful one thing from the beginning and will be to the end, even though the expansion continues and will eternally. I can pretty much promise you that. But anyways, that's just from my own story and perspective, and that's all I'm doing is sharing that, okay? So yet fully him. So that means that there was never any separate. Never any separation, never has been. But they separated in theory and in perception just enough to have an engagement, like you and I are having one right now. If we weren't in theory pretending to be separate from each other, I couldn't be making this lovely video, and I couldn't be speaking to you, because we would be in that holy oneness as opposed to playing the separate game, which is a beautiful game. Okay, they were together face to face in the very beginning, and though his creative inspiration, this living expression, she, made all things, the living expression made all things. What do women do in the earth story? Very simple. Who makes the babies? For nothing has existence apart from them. This was the beginning of union's expression through the perceived idea of separation, the starting point of expansion, and the entire story being told in all possible expressions of the Holy One. That's what this scripture is talking about. And I don't know why I put it in my notes or why I wanted to share it, but that is what I'm doing now. So anyways, I'm going to look at some of these comments because there's a lot of, there's some really, unlovely comments. Great. I love to have the duality present in both the dark and the light and everything in between, because that is my story, that is my journey. That old hymn just came in my mind. This is my story, this is my song, serving consciousness all the day long. I don't know where that came from, but pretty cool. But I'm just looking at this. So can you say hi to Clan? Da, 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 da. Hey, Grandma, what are you doing? Hey, Grandma, what are you doing? I don't think I'm your grandma, Erin, but if that's the part you see me as, great. Grandma. Where are these people coming from? And then I got a little poopy emoji. That's awesome. Oh my, look behind you. A tall black figure is standing in the door frame. Really? Cool. I like that. A tall black figure is standing in the door frame, huh? Awesome sauce. Wonder who that is. If I see him or her, I'll ask. She looked like woman superstar. Oh my goodness, this is very strange. I don't know who these people are or what they're saying. But nonetheless, I welcome all energies here. I know that there's a drawing of energy here for a specific reason, so it's all good. It's all part of the Holy One, so we're good. All right, so this other little note that I wrote here is something that and it's true, it's beautiful. And if we did this, it would really be assistive in the way that we process all the things that are going on in our Earth story. Treat your feelings, all of them, especially the ones that are difficult, just like you do intuition or downloads, as it were. When you get an intuitive, positive thing that you're really enjoying, like it's leading you somewhere and you get excited about it, you know that feeling that you get when you get a download and you're like, oh my gosh, and you might even rush to share it? Treat all of your feelings like that. By doing this, you're accepting them, and they are no longer, accepting, and there are no feelings and no emotions that you have that are bad, which is a perception and a judgment. When we choose to respond to a download with excitement and joy, and we get super elated about it, then we choose to react to these feelings that are less than comfortable with a sense of sadness or rejection, or, oh, I don't want to feel this. We are in judgment. If you react to feelings that you do not want instead of responding in love, you're saying to that thing that it's unwanted and bad. Judge not lest you be judged. This is just another little tiny microscopic sense of judgment that can come in. So just be mindful of that when you, hello, OAO, gaming, interesting. Just remember that when you receive anything from the outer and it comes across your auric field and you feel anything, sadness, anger, frustration, joy, excitement, whatever it is, remember that you always have a choice to respond to it, just like you would something that you deem as being powerfully good for you. If it doesn't feel that way, accept it in and look at it in the same light that you would something that you prefer. Just because you don't prefer it doesn't mean you're asking it to come in because it's what you want. There's a lot of things that we experience in this Earth story that are not comfortable and they're not preferred, and that's great, that's wonderful. Knowing what you prefer is really important in this time frame we're in. But even though you understand that you don't prefer it, accept it and give it space in your holy self just like you would something you do prefer. And watch the kind of magic that will happen from that. It's pretty awesome. Like I said, I'm clearing out all my video notes so I can empty it out, and I'm going to just start fresh. I'm going to start from brand new. Spiritual trends. This is how you get to do, my notes sometimes are not very clear, so forgive me. This is how you get to do what you want to do. Understand the universe so that you can get. Oh, it's a spiritual trend. I got it. Okay, got it. It's a spiritual trend that we're experiencing in the spirit community. This is how you get what you want. And you get what you want and understand the universe so that you can get. We have this whole manifestation getting attitude thing going on. And it says, I'm sorry to say some very uncomfortable things. I feel my inner Yeshua coming out and I'm braiding my whip. I think what I was feeling in that moment was I was expressing that watching the beautiful ability of manifestation, which we all have as spiritual beings having a human experience, has been, twisted and repainted into something that is a get game. And I can guarantee you that anything has to do with authentic, true divinity is never a get game. It is only a give game. Divinity pushes love forward. Always, it's a forward inertia. The beautiful thing about that is it's a sphere twisted this way. When you take a sphere and you twist it this way, you end up with what? A figure eight. So it goes around. So when divinity thrusts that beautiful love forward, what happens to it? It comes back around and washes over whence it came. So we don't have to worry about love because it will definitely come back to you. But it's never a get game. Never, ever, ever, ever a get game. And I think that's why I was feeling very adamantly, righteously angry about it, because there is so much out there talking about what you can get and pushing away those that don't serve you and all these things that are just the same old turd painted a different color, my loves. It just is. So I think that's what that meant. Now, I don't know what this is. I didn't go over this part of my notes at all. Let me see. It's really long. Do I really want to share this? There's a lot here. My goodness, this is going to be a 2-hour video if I share all of it. Maybe I'll just do part of it. This one's really long. I don't even know what it says, but this is an internal thing. Emotional equality. Unconditional love, once we get to the place where we have worked within our kingdoms and where unconditional love is solidified, then we begin to create an incredible emotional frequency within ourselves. If you hear that noise, that's my puppy Penelope playing with her squeak toy on purpose, because I'm not paying attention to her, I'm paying attention to you. So if you hear that, that's what it is. We then begin to create an incredible emotional frequency within ourselves that produces the chemicals in our body that gives us that feeling in our physical self of joy and bliss and happiness. And all of those things are quality emotions that have a frequency to them that attract us to the same frequency. This is a beautiful thing. As you develop this and master this within yourself, the inner will always be projected into the outer as manifest reality in the earth game. As that occurs for you as a being, that unconditional love moving forward, like I just said, which I didn't even read this, and what did I just speak about? This is very, very synchronized without me even trying. Love moving forward, when those beloveds appear to you in the outer, attracted to your story, projected from your inner manifest physicality, another person, a beloved, a union with whom that is in front of you, when that occurs, something has just happened. Okay, I said that when that occurs, something has just happened to me that I'm going to describe to you, and hopefully it will be helpful for you because I just walked through some serious, difficult frequencies to kind of figure this out. In that state of unconditional love for self, and you create those beautiful emotions, and everything happens complete and wholly within oneself as the manifest outer presents itself, and you move into that outer experience to engage that for the experience of giving that unconditional love, one to the other, something shifts in the process, and it is a very, very slight, and it's very difficult to tell. You have this unconditional love for self you have created, these beautiful frequencies of quality emotions within yourself, and now in the manifest outer, you begin to love that one self that's in front of you, the beloved that is in your life now as a divine union. You begin to practice that same unconditional love because that is yourself. Naturally, this just pours from what's in your heart, in the heart of man. What pours from the heart of man will come out of that man. Yes, that's what you had said to me very clearly. I must have been having a conversation with Yeshua, the energy of Yeshua. So as this occurs, you're giving that unconditional love forward. I can't believe she's doing that. That's just crazy. She doesn't ever play with that thing. She's doing it on purpose because I'm busy. Giving that unconditional love forward with the quality of emotion that's in you being bestowed to your beloved, and something occurs in response or reaction from your beloved that then begins to create a discordant, lower quality of emotion of response in you. There's a little precipice in here that gets a little gray and confusing, and that's what I'm going to describe to you today. There's a huge difference between unconditional love and the emotional state it brings to you within incarnate self, and how that works energetically in the outer. And that difference is this. When you have invited that individual in the outer and decided with purpose and intention to present to that person the exact naked, unveiled way that you do in your inner self, which is what this union is for us to practice that experience when you do that and something comes in response back to you, that you will then be having to bring back into self and work on it. If it creates lower quality emotions in you, also you can call it getting triggered, such as fear, anxiety, disappointment, heartaches, and all kinds of, there's a temptation in that to disconnect everything from the outer circumstance, and it feels like you are pulling away your unconditional love of them, which is impossible now in the state that you're in, and it's extremely confusing. I remember this procedure for me, and it was extremely confusing. It was brought to me and proposed to me as a confusion so that I could wade through it to discover the truth that I already know and remembered it. The truth that I remembered is this: unconditional love stays constant throughout all of your engagements in the outer as it does on the inner. But the thing that is differently orchestrated on the outer is that the expression of that love in the outer can change and will change, and sometimes must absolutely change. I'm talking about the expression, not the love itself, the way that you express it. I'll give you a very brutal example that has nothing to do with my personal circumstance, or most likely yours, but it's a really good black and white example. I know which one it is, I use it all the time. Unconditional love for every spark of origin creation, all the way from the dust to the entire cosmos. So that means you take a relationship that you have with a murderer, okay? Now your love for them is unconditional, as is the love for self, no separation. But would your expression towards that individual be the same as if it was for a child, or for your beloved dog, or for your husband, or for your wife? Absolutely not. As a matter of fact, if you want harmony and peace within your own emotional state, which is a very important frequency to maintain, there is no way you could have those expressions for that said person. The thing that I want you to see that's very clear is that the unconditional love never changes, and that is the desire of all of our hearts and divinity. But when the expression has to change, please know, my beloved, that if you look closely and observe, you can keep the unconditional love intact because it is who you are, and change the expression. That's loving somebody from a distance, right? Choosing to love them from a distance just because that's where you're at. The difficulty in this is that when you change that expression, as where you're first learning to do this in the outer, it feels like you're removing the unconditional love of said beloved. It only feels that way. Your expression towards every individual that is in your outer will change and ebb and flow as it should. Follow your heart in that and do what makes you feel good. Constantly observe and check and recheck that your love for them is still unconditional. That means no judgment. That means no accounting. You see them as a beautiful light and a spark of creation, exactly the same as you. Always, all the time, never ending. Now, if that person exhibits a behavior that creates something within you that is not cohesive to your inner kingdom anymore, then you may have to change your expression for them. Here's another example. Let's say you have a dear beloved friend, and you are very, very close to this friend. You are very much in union, and you are in a relationship where you are completely treating that other one as self, with all the things that you do for oneself inside. Let's say that friend decides to exhibit a behavior. Let's say they develop having a problem with jealousy, and they start to exhibit that behavior towards you, though you know through actions that are not in alignment with where you're at. So they create feelings in you of hurt and pain and confusion, and you don't understand why this person is behaving in these ways, and it doesn't feel good to you anymore. In that moment, your unconditional love for that person stays constant. You see them as the beloved spark of creation that they are. As you are, there is no judgment, there is no account, there is nothing held against that person in your heart. Check that and observe that it is intact and beautiful. Now you realize that this person is energetically going through something where it's no longer in your highest good to express your love in such an open and vulnerable way for that moment. So you choose to change your expression from that open vulnerability to a more removed expression. Basically, decide that you're going to choose to withhold that vulnerability within yourself again until you witness in this beloved that their behavior has been dealt with in their inner kingdom. And you'll know that by the way that they are and how they're treating you. You can go right back to that expression that you had with them when they move through this energetic space and come out into another side of it with your beautiful union together. It can change that expression back and forth as it serves both of you in your highest goods. This information isn't information to help you see as you move into these outer processes after the inner kingdom is developed and it becomes manifesting in the outer. In these unions present themselves to you. I'm attempting to open up my vulnerable circumstances to you in hopes that it will shed some light on your circumstance, that unconditional love remains intact, meaning no judgment, no account. You know the saying in Corinthians, that love always protects, love always boosts, love always boasts, love always believes, love always, always, always. You know that text. That stays intact, but your expression to that person may and will and can and has to change. It happens. Learn to discern the difference between your expression of that unconditional love and that unconditional love. See how those two things are separate, and in the outer, unlike in the inner, the outer expression changes as it needs to. This is what differentiates from the inner in the inner kingdom. The expression never changes. In the inner kingdom, the expression never changes within yourself. Because in the inner kingdom, your expression remains the same for yourself once you get to that point, and that's a working through all your shadow work, right? You'll learn how to manifest that beautiful, perfect expression within yourself. It's always safe there to express yourself in that complete open vulnerability. That space, and it will always be that way. And trust me, you will eventually move into that space where the one in the outside is exactly the same as the one that you have within. It'll be the same thing, and it will occur. But until it does, it's perfectly acceptable and totally warranted and necessary that you change your expression of that unconditional love at times in the outer. The outer is the duality. The inner is the ethereal. There is a duality in the outer, and the inner there isn't any. As above, so below. We're bringing the as above, the inner, into the so below, the outer. Hopefully that makes sense. Wow, that was a long one. I need a drink of water. That was a good one. I forgot about that. That's some serious, intense information right there. And I was grateful when I received it. Okay, those are just personal notes. Okay, what is this? Okay, I think I'm going to stop it right there. So let me go ahead and erase this while we're talking, and then I'll know that I did everything up until that point. Although that one piece, I don't know if I want to erase it. It was really good, but I have it on video now. So I'm just going to do that for now, and that's enough. I didn't really want to be on here very long, so I just wanted to share that with you, and I'm going to listen to it back too. I hope that was legible. That one, oh, you know what? What did I do here? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to leave that. Okay. Yes, where was the last one? There we go. I'll do it from there because I'm going to do that on TikTok too, I think. That's really, really, really good. It's very, very, very important. So I'm going to put that big space there so I have that space and I'll know where it was at. Don't want to erase it just yet. But anyways, I just wanted to share that, and I don't know if I'll be using this channel for expressions or if I'll just do TikTok lives, or I am taking a little bit of a journey inward again right now until the new year, which I perceive as being in March because I follow the galactic calendar, not the Gregorian calendar. So the new year for me is in March, and I've got 5 months left to do some things that I want to do on the inner workings of myself. So I may just not do anything. I don't know, but if I do, I will, and it'll just be that. But I wanted to share this with you and tell you all that I very, very much so love you, and all the connections that I have to my beloveds remain right here, and I now understand that I do not have to let go of them. I can't. There's just no way. It's not the design of my heart. My journey and my story and my mission here is such that I have no allowance for that. Once these connections are made, they are in my heart and they are there permanently, and they will cross my mind and my love will follow them. It just won't manifest in the outer until it does. And then when it does, my arms and my heart will be open wide for that, and it will be wonderful. I can feel that I'm losing my voice, which is weird. But I haven't done a video like this in a long time where I've talked, nonstop for 30 minutes. So I hope this finds you well and, really far on your internal journey. And hopefully that internal journey is starting to bring you into the outer, because that is the whole point, the as above, so below. It's all about union of everything, the as above, so below, the inner with the outer, the male with the female, the friend with the friend, the brother with the brother, the sister with the sister, the entire collective that is involved in the lifting and, ascending of the frequency of this planet for our next phase of the story. All y'all. I love you very much. Hello, Mr. Jeffrey, you just came in at the tail end. Go back and watch it if you would like. I'm just getting ready to close up, but I love you very much, brother, and it's good to see you. You are one of those ones, so there you go. And if you want to know what that means, just go back and listen to the rest of the video. If you want, if you don't, no big deal. This is simply me energetically expressing because I know I'm supposed to. So I will talk to you all later if I am moved to do so, and if not, it'll be that way too. I love you all very much and have a wonderful, wonderful day. 1st of November, can you believe it? I can't.